Hey there, everybody. This week, instead of writing an article to respond to a question, it occurred to me that it was best just to do a video to demonstrate what I'm going to talk about. So somebody popped in with a question asking to give more examples of some of the rhythmic exercises that I do, because I've mentioned a lot about practicing like a drummer, and there's a lot of sections of my book deal with rhythm and different ways to play with it. So I thought I might as well come at you guys with a new rhythmic exercise that I've been playing with. So the idea behind this exercise is you can take any melodic pattern you want and apply this exercise to it. I'm just going to use the C major scale, and I think that's a great place to start. And then you can start trying to run the exercises using arpeggios, different scales, different modes, whatever you want. When I work on rhythm, at some point I came up with this arbitrary idea of always doing things in groupings of 1 through 7, and that'll make sense in a second. And an example of this, and I'm going to give you 3 variations on this exercise. Easier, a little bit difficult, a little bit more difficult, and then a little bit more difficult again. Basically, the idea is just to play every note of the scale with, I'm thinking rhythmic grouping. So 1/16th note per 1/16th note per note of the scale, then 2 16th notes per note of the scale, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once we do that, then we're going to play the same thing again, but tie the notes for each note of the scale. And this will make sense once you hear me do it. So first time we'll play every note 16th notes. Second time we'll hold each note for the duration of 2 16th notes, which would be an 8th note. Then 3 16th notes, which would be a dotted 8th note, or 3 16th, dakata, 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 dakata. And then 4 16th, 5, 6, 7. Then we're just going to play one staccato 16th note and try and feel the passage of time internally and try and stick to those 1/16th note per note, and then one strike every 2 16th notes, every 3, every 4, every 5, 6, 7. That probably didn't make a whole lot of sense, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to set the metronome at 75 BPM. So not too fast. Some of you guys might want to slow this down a little bit. Some of you folks might want to start there and then speed it up. Work at your own pace as usual, and as I always say, never practice anything faster than you can play it properly. You don't want to practice sloppy technique or bad notes or anything. You want to make sure you're getting a good sound, getting good rhythm, and then take it from there and speed up as necessary as befits your ability to play it. So here I'll play the scale up once and down. Now you could, when you finish one pass, you could wait for the next big downbeat and then start again. I usually just play them straight through, so it kind of turns around a little bit in the bar line. For me, that's just more fun. But so here, first example, playing every note of the scale, 1 16th note, then every note, 2 16th notes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's what that sounds like. I put a big downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oop, I gotta turn up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. 4. 5. Oh, screwed that up again. Let's try the 7s again. That's tricky. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a little tricky. Those 5s and 7s are a little funny. There is a trick. If you think, if you wrote out groupings of 4 16th notes, 4 per beat, and say with the 5s, and link those together, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, you realize that the next note is always moving one subdivision over. So 1 2 3 4 1 and so 1 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 5 E and a, 6. So da ga 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 da. If that makes sense. And 7s do the opposite. 7s move backwards through the subdivisions, through the 16th note subdivisions. So 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1. I just spaced out and didn't pay attention for a second, and then second guessed myself. That's why I messed that up. It takes a little bit of concentration, especially when the big beats of your metronome may be landing somewhere else. So again, with 5s, 1 2 3 4 5 1, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1. 7s move backwards. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1. It's a little bit, a little bit brain hurty, thinky pain, but just a little guide to help you in your quest for 5s and 7s. So that was version 1 of the exercise, playing each note the appropriate number of times as per groupings of 16th notes. This time I'm going to do the same exercise except hold the notes for the duration of the number of 16th notes. I should think of a better name for all of these things that better demonstrates exactly what the exercises are, but I think you guys, a lot of you folks are probably getting it. I'm sorry I keep saying guys, it's just a habit. I mean to be all inclusive. So 1 2 3 4. Sevens. I have a hard time if the 7s don't start on the downbeat. So my fault. I apologize. 1 2 3 4. So I hope you don't mind me leaving my own little mistakes in there. I mess this stuff up as much as anybody, but it's good practice, and I don't mind the warts and all approach. So now, third thing is similar to what we just did, but staccato. So I started singing legato again. Staccato every note, so you're feeling complete silence and you're feeling the passage of time. Some of you may want to get a compound metronome or some kind of metronome that can do subdivisions, so you can hear the 16th notes going. Let me see if I can make that happen real quick. 16th. Make them a little quieter. Let's do a hi-hat cymbal. That works. Sorry, thought I'd try the weirdo. No good. So there's an example. You can hear the 16th notes passing. I'll leave that on for you guys. Just turn it down just a little bit. So here's staccato. 1, 2, 3, 4. Seven. Did it that time. So there you are. And again, get those 16th notes going behind you so you can really kind of feel the passage of time, but then try and do it without them. So again, to recap, three variations on one exercise, playing 16th notes in groupings of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Play each note of the scale once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up and down. And you can choose to hold the last note and then start again on the next big downbeat, because that'll likely make it a little easier. Second variation, hold the notes for the duration, 1/16, then hold it for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And third variation, same thing, but play the note staccato. Basically the same thing you just did, but playing short notes and just focusing on the passage of those 16th notes. And if a scale, sometimes it's a lot to think about. So if you want to focus on just the rhythm, you can do it with just one note. You don't need to play a full melodic pattern. You could just take one muted note. Doesn't even matter. I often, when I work on rhythm, I first separate the rhythm from the harmony, and I work on rhythm solely by itself. And then once I feel like I have a handle on it, then I'll grab a melodic pattern, some kind of scale, arpeggio, some exercise, and combine it with that rhythm, because then you're kind of doing two things at once. and you can often see where your weaknesses lie to see which side of things you mess up. Do you mess up the scale, which I'll mess up a simple scale if I'm thinking too hard about the rhythm, or do you mess up the rhythm, and then you can kind of go back and forth until you can really mesh them together. So I'll just go ahead with the 16th notes, because I didn't have those playing the whole time. Do the exercises with the 16th notes in just one rhythm, just one note. Sorry, I just woke up a little while ago. More coffee. Okay, now we can do this. So now let me do a simplified version. I will wait for the next big downbeat before I start the next section. Wherever I wind up, I'll wait until the next big bink, and I'll just use one note. So if you've already got everything up to now and you're like, yeah, I got it, I'm going to bump up my metronome and do that at 200 because this stuff is just too slow, then you probably don't even need to watch the rest of this. But for the rest of you mere mortals, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Volume. 1, 2, 3, 4. So first I'll just try and lock in on those 16th notes. Then move to 2s once I feel good. Try 3s. Fours. Always starting on the downbeat because I'm doing the slightly easier version. 5s. I messed it up. Bat, 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 bat. 6. So you're just basically doing downbeat, upbeat, downbeat, upbeat, downbeat, upbeat. I'll do 7s. Ooh, I messed that up again. 1. So that's a quick variation. Always starting on the downbeat with your next subdivision once you're feeling comfortable. Just use one muted note or one solid note, doesn't matter. Now I'll do the same thing holding those note durations. And this is very useful stuff. If you can get used to the feeling of a dotted eighth note, dotted quarter note triplets, this is kind of on getting on the path to really being able to feel what some of those subdivisions sound like, and so you don't have to think so hard when you go to utilize them. And again, this is all just groupings of 16th notes, so you could do the same thing with triplets, eighth note triplets, playing eighth note triplets, quarter note triplets, half note triplets. You can mix and match. The possibilities are endless. So now long tones. I'll start with eighth notes. We know what 16th notes. Daka, 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 daka. I'll do 3s. Daka, 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 dotted eighth notes. Sorry, I have a hard time talking and playing at the same time. I'll do 2 bars of quarter notes, then move on to 5s. So that's 4s, now to 5s. Two 6s. Sevens. So I hope that makes sense. I apologize for my little mistakes here and there. This is something I came up with a student. We're working on some rhythmic ideas, and I had played around with this a little bit and kind of forgotten about it years ago, and we revisited it. And when I got this question for no treble, it just brought me right back to this lesson. So I figured, let's go ahead and videotape it. Again, apologies for the little mistakes. I can't do it perfectly. I need to get back in the shed, make sure I can do this stuff without thinking so hard. And as a reminder, everybody, feel free to comment in the comments, leave questions, thoughts, concerns, complaints, and I will try and respond to them as quickly as I can. I am traveling quite a bit these days, so I'll get to things when I can. And keep the questions rolling in. I've been doing this 9 years now, weekly articles, and if nothing else, I always try to at least respond to the question, even if it's something somebody's asked before. I might send you a link to a previous article that I've written on that. At this point, we're getting near 500 articles. It's been 400 and something. So I'll often go through and search and make sure I haven't covered a topic, or if I have, I'll try and find a new spin on it and approach it from a different angle. But regardless, here's the lesson. I hope it helped some of you. Feel free to hit me with any questions you may have, and I promise next time I will play it better. Bye.